Hi, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. I am just in the midst working on my pressed flower projects so that they can be inserts in my junk journals. And I wanted to show you today my latest junk journal. Now, this is actually, I shouldn't have said my latest. First of all, this postcard here I found in an antique shop. And when I saw the colors of it, it was very unusual. And this is called a calcium light postcard. It's done with calcium, and they make this color using lights with the calcium. So it's really, really cool. It's from 1905. And I remembered that it had the exact same colors in it of this book here, which is the Star Rover from 1917. So I really liked the cover of the book, and I especially liked the clouds, so I've left the clouds here. I've made the postcard hingeable here so that you can see the back, because I love the backs of postcards, sometimes more than the fronts. This has got the postmark here, 1907 from Boston, Massachusetts, being sent to a lovely person in Wisconsin. And then I made this antique doily here and this antique lace, and I tucked in this early 1900s photograph pulled out of an old photo album, and it's still got the horse and buggy. So I just thought that all the timelines matched up. It's just sweet as can be. So let me show you the rest of the inside of this beautiful journal, the original first pages. And of course, if you follow me, you know that everything I use is authentic. I don't use any commercial products. So all of these papers are just a journey through time. The first original plates in here, children's book page from the 30s, this wonderful photograph here from the 30s. Isn't that cool? And they're all just having a little fun time at their cottage in that picture. I hand stamped that there, and that is vintage flip chart paper. This is from the 40s, this wonderful book page here, and this lovely hard cardstock fuzzy paper from the 30s. It's an English children's book. A vintage recipe page there. And this is a plate from, this is Costumes, I believe, of England. That is an antique book as well. So here's a wonderful vintage stamping cluster. That's the rest of that vintage recipe book page. I just love this little poem here, so I left that so you could enjoy that. And I put two 1920s banknotes in here. Lovely little cluster down here. Antique papers. More of that wonderful children's book. And some lace here. More hand stamping on that flip chart paper. And look at this wonderful 1930s book page, Seashore Days. And that, I believe, is from Garden Stories. Isn't that fun? I made this pocket here out of another vintage doily. And this is a lovely advertisement for more books. And this was pulled out of the back of a book, and it is now a journaling spot. Pretty cool, right? Oops, goes in the pocket. And here is a wonderful plate here from the art book. And that is a Pisario from Paris. And that is a vintage art plate of an antique painting. Journaling spot here, clusters here. Oh, I just love this so much. 1909 hand done music song here. And I don't know what the song is, but man, would I love to know what that is. It's just beautiful. October 15th was the lesson date for that piano student. More journaling spots up here, and a wonderful advertisement here from Theater Arts Magazine. Here's more of that costumes, English costumes book, and a vintage botanical book page. Roses, just stunning. This is from a 1940s photography magazine. Look at that. She's splendid. 1950s receipt. And here is the 1920 Etude magazine. And these are the advertisements for different conservatories and music schools around the country that people would have looked to this magazine to apply to those. See, there we go, get it in right. Another wonderful antique book page from this book, The Star Rover. More children's book pages, lots of journaling space here. And then this is just a great little book page here. It's a floating pocket. So on this side, I've got this wonderful 1800s page with journaling on the back with antique paper. Great clusters, costume book from the early 1900s, and then just a really fun page here, and an old receipt from a dairy products vendor in 1953. Isn't that great? I love that. I love floating pockets. They're just full of surprises. I try to pack as much as I can into them. If you want more, just ask. You never know what I'm going to say. This is just a really beautiful, a wonderful early 1900s page that I thought was sweet, so I just tucked that in there. Another children's book page. This is also from the 1800s. Look at this wonderful operator here. Isn't that fantastic? And an arithmetic on the other side. Children's book page from the 20s down here. And more antique paper, again from this book. There's an antique spine there, cluster. And this is from How to Make a Garden, early 1900s, I believe 1905, I want to say. So it's beautiful rose print there. And this is from the 1950s. Housekeeping encyclopedia. And that chapter is Young Folks at Home. More journaling space here. More plates here from an old book. Children's book. Oh, it's fuzzy too. I just love it. One Pair of Stairs from 1937. That one is on the owl. That's fun. Some lace here, and you lift it up, and there's journaling space underneath there as well. And another pocket here. And in here I put antique and vintage stamps. And it's a vintage glassine stamp collector's envelope. And just tuck that in there. And then this is a bird page here, sorry, from a children's book, front and back. And the quills there, the duck, mallard. And this is from a vintage atlas, actually, and this was a geology page in the atlas. It shows where in the world you can find those rocks. This is a Theatre World magazine page from the 40s. And another wonderful Lights and Shadows in the Stair, 1937. Here's another wonderful belly band here I made out of an antique spine. And just another great children's book page illustration there. And that brings us to the last original pages of the book. An inscription back here. And that's it. It's going back on Etsy with this new wonderful postcard cover. I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. See you soon. Hyperstamper.etsy.com.